Hey guys, it's Will here and welcome to this little series that I'm calling Path of the Warrior, my Eldar tactics journey. So this is going to be an infrequent series to start off with, but depending on how it goes I might make more of these. And basically I'm looking at Eldar tactics, but rather than sort of from the point of view of I'm great with Eldar, this is what you guys should do, learn from me. It's going to be more of a journey, because I'm trying to get better with my Eldar, and I thought a good way for that is to do that, as well as obviously playing lots of games, thinking about what went well, reading stuff, was to maybe vlog about it a bit and talk to you guys, share what I've learnt, and maybe even get some feedback on what I could be doing. I just think it's a good part of the process to get better with my army. So basically Eldar have been out in the 8th edition codex for a few months now, and I've played a bunch of games, had some wins, had some losses, and the general feel of the codex is that it's where Eldar should be. It's not stupidly auto-win powerful, it's not impossible to play, it's sort of in the middle. It's got some great strength to it, but you've got to use it properly to make the most of that, which I think is really good for an army. It makes it a challenge to play, but still strong, without being like, oh, this is just an auto win button like possibly Eldar in 7th edition might have been. But yeah, so I want to get better though, because my win-loss ratio wasn't where I wanted it to be, and always want to get better at stuff, and started looking around on the internet to see what Tactica videos there were on Eldar, and I realised there aren't many people doing Eldar tactics at the moment. So I thought, okay, well that's cool, maybe if no one else is doing it, maybe I could try and do something. I thought, well, wait a minute, hang on, I'm not all that good with my Eldar yet, let's try and actually get good with them before I do some tactical videos. So then I sort of came with the idea of it kind of being like a journey almost. I'm trying to get better, and I'm going to share that, share what I've learned as I go along with you guys, and yeah, it should make for some interesting videos. So anyway, before I go much further, I'm going to show you the Eldar army that I've been running pretty much since the new codex came out. So this is the 2000 point Eldar list that I've been running pretty much since the codex came out. So down in the front here I've got my Farseer, a Warlock and a Spirit Seer. The additional Warlock is allowing me to run this as both a battalion and an Outrider detachment for the extra command point. And they've got 3 units of Dire Avengers, 2 of 5 with the Exarch with the Shuriken Catapult pair, and then 1 of 10 with the Exarch with the Shimmer Shield and the Power Glaive. And they've got me Striking Scorpions on one side, Wraith Guard over there. In the back we've got a unit of Fire Dragons, 2 units of Warp Spiders, 1 of Dark Reapers, then we've got 2 squads of 5 Jet Bikes, 2 Wave Serpents and a Falcon. And that's pretty much my entire collection. I've got a couple of extra squad members for a couple of the squads, and I've got a unit of Swooping Hawks, but that's pretty much all the Eldar I own. Now, first thing you notice about this is obviously it's Biltan. Really like the Biltan fluff, the most sort of militant of the craft worlds, and the one that certainly until recently have really kind of had the thought about rebuilding the Eldar Empire of old, at least of all the craft worlds, the ones most inclined towards that, and as a result running loads of aspect warriors, which are some of my favourite Eldar units. So definitely going to keep playing this as Biltan. I think it's probably not the optimal build if you wanted to be really sort of power gamey about it. Alteok or Alatok, however it's pronounced, is probably the best all-rounder, and if you're running very Wraith heavy, Yanden is really strong, because they got that Fighter Gnome of Yanden item, which is really good. But yeah, I'm very much keen to continue playing Tarn and learning how to use them, because I don't think it's a bad trait at all, especially if you've got a decent amount of Shuriken weapons, which it's Eldar, you probably are going to have, and the aspect warriors are pretty much immune from leadership in small squads in the Biltan force. As for how I've been actually using the army, a lot of the forces I've played have been very aggressive, so I've wanted to protect all my fairly squidgy infantry from getting alpha striked. So the idea has been anyone who's got space, get in a tank. If you haven't got space in a tank, try to deploy in reserves. So obviously the Scorpions, and the warp spiders can reserve naturally, and I try to use either the Wraith Guard or the large Avenger squad, use the stratagem Web-Ray Strike to keep them off the board, and then pretty much everyone else apart from the bikes manages to squeeze into a transport, except the Reapers, who I try to keep back in cover. But yeah, now what I'm going to do is have a bit of a look at a few units that I think I'm either really not happy with the performance of, or I've really learnt something about from playing them. So I've started off here by zooming in on my Farseer. Now he has been one of the most consistently good models in this list so far. So he's a Farseer on a jet bike with a singing spear, and for his other abilities he's got Guide and Doom as his psychic powers, Natural Leader as his warlord trait, and the Phoenix Gem as his item. And I think this is a really great combo. With Guide and Doom, he supports the rest of the army really well. Guide is great when you've got that one unit you really want to give a big boost to, and Doom if there's that one unit in your enemy army that like 5-6 units are going to be targeting and you just want to get rid of. Doom massively shifts the odds in your favour. And the Phoenix Gem is a brilliant little item. I saved his butt on more than one occasion. Basically, it gives him a chance to come back to life, particularly if he's killed in close combat, which realistically is how he's going to go down, because a character on a jet bike, if you play them well, it's going to be very tricky for your opponent to target them with shooting. So when he does tend to die, it tends to be to fast moving assault units, and the Phoenix Gem has saved his butt on more than one occasion, so definitely a great include there. In fact, I've been so pleased with this guy, he probably deserves a video all of himself. But the one thing I will last note, the Natural Leader ability, the Biltan warlord trait. Basically pick a unit within 3 inches in the start of shooting phase, and that unit gets rerolls to hit in the shooting phase, which is just amazing. It's basically like, yeah, I've done Guide in the psychic phase, and now I'm going to do Guide again in the shooting phase with no psychic test required, and sticking him on a jet bike means he's always in the right place to do that. But yeah, I think he deserves a video on his own, so I might talk more about him later. Next, I want to talk a bit about my Dire Avengers. Obviously one of the most quintessentially built-on units, but also one that benefits the most from the craftworld attributes. And as you can see, I've got 2 different types of build here. So we've got the 10-man squad, where the Exarch has the Power Glaive and the Shimmer Shield, and then the smaller 5-man squads where the Exarch has the dual shuriken catapults. And having tried both of these out in a number of games, I'm really leaning towards this sort of loadout for the Exarch. In principle, this sounds quite good, the Shimmer Shield giving you a 5+ invulnerable save, and he's got a slightly better melee weapon on the rare occasion that matters. And so you'd think, oh yeah, big squad, invuln save, you know, might help to keep them alive a bit more. But to be honest, a lot of the things that are hitting them only have like a -1 AP, so that 5+ being an invuln really isn't that relevant, and even when it does come into play, it's not that great. It doesn't seem to save a lot of guys. I find the better way to keep your Dire Avengers alive is just to kill whatever's trying to kill them before it can kill them, and for that purpose this gives a lot more output, because it's not just 2 extra shots versus this build, it's 4 extra shots, because obviously this guy doesn't have any sort of ranged weapon apart from the plasma grenade, whereas this guy's got 2 more catapults, so it's effectively a 6-man squad in terms of its damage output. And if the target is perhaps doomed, which is generally a good thing if you're firing toughness 4 stuff at it, you're rerolling 1s to wound for Biltan, you're rerolling to wound for Doom, and if you lose this squad, well, it's only 65 points or 64 points, you know, you can run multiples of these quite happily. So I think I'm probably going to be working on some more Exarchs like this guy, who's still very much a work in progress, so I can run more of my Avengers in this build rather than this one, because I think on balance this is the better loadout, the twin shuriken catapults. Now I'm going to talk about one of the units that has disappointed me a little bit, and that's the Striking Scorpions. So this is pretty much a full squad with the Exarch, with the Claw. There's a fair few points invested in this, and it's a real shame they've been underperforming, not just because they cost a fair few points, but also fluff-wise I really like the idea of the Striking Scorpions, but they just haven't been able to live up to expectations in the game so far. I've been basically trying to use their deep strike ability to get them into combat, because I haven't got enough transport space for them in this list, and they come with their own delivery system. They shouldn't need a transport, and I don't think infantry assault troops walking across the board are going to get there unless they are really resilient, which toughness 3/3 up save just isn't that tough anymore. I think if these guys walked across the board they'd get cut down, so I've been using their pseudo deep strike ability, and then to try and ensure they get off that 9-inch charge, been using the Court of the Young King stratagem, which for these guys without an avatar around gives them +2 to their charge and reroll ones once they get into combat. But I've found them actually quite unreliable at pulling off that charge, even though it should only be a 7 and you can throw an extra dice if you use another command point to re-roll one of the dice and got the +2, but they just haven't been doing that. And on the rare occasion that they have got into combat, the strength 4 attacks aren't bad, and the Mandy Blasters give you the occasional extra mortal wound, but really the Exarch's the only one who's done any meaningful damage, and he's only strength 6, which means in this edition he's still needing 3s to wound Marines. He's only got 3 attacks, so they've been a little bit underwhelming, I have to say. I mean, not to say that, you know, they're necessarily bad, I just haven't had very good results with them. You know, if you know someone out there who's playing Striking Scorpions and they're absolutely beastly and finding a way to make them incredibly strong, then that's all good, you know, that's totally legit. But I'm finding they're not working for me, and I think they are going to be the first unit to get cut from this list and replaced with something else, which is a shame, because like I say, I really like the fluff behind these guys, but they're just not delivering on the tabletop right now. So I don't want this video going on too long, but yeah, so I'm going to round it up in a minute, but just sort of a few other thoughts I've had on this before I go. So in the back here you can see the Fire Dragons and the Dark Reapers over on the back there. Both of these units have been performing very reliably for me, and certainly are units I think I could be getting some more of. And the Wave Serpents, while their damage output has been okay, their resilience has really impressed me, and they've been a great way to protect my troops from getting alpha striked. So I think there's still a lot to learn with Eldar. Obviously I'm going to have to paint up some more models before I shift up this list too much. So you know, don't expect me to be playing Eldar all the time on the channel. I've got other armies I want to use, other things I want to try out, but certainly expect to see a decent amount of Eldar, and me trying to gradually get better. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching. If you found this style of video interesting, then let me know in the comments and I'll know to make more. If you found it, you know, a bit naff, then yeah, don't tell me, because that'll make me sad. No, no, if it's not very good, then yeah, tell me I can do better. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.